Yo, let's get set up here and get going on some Sunday scan stuff. And righty, let's get down to business. Hope you all read the Sunday Scans newsletter. I'm gonna pull it up briefly here. If you haven't yet here, make sure to go check it out. Um, Rocco had some good posts in his section. I went over a number of charts in my section, um, which actually have the entire list right here. So we can just get right into that. Make sure to go give it a read. There's also the audio function on Substack, so you can just turn it on the audio in the background, and then then go scroll through the charts and stuff, of course, because there's a lot of good charts. But usually the first few minutes are just audio. Anywho, let's get down to business. Let me check futures what they're doing. Up a little bit. Up a little bit. Okay, okay. Let's see what else we got. Should have bought more Dell, it looks like. This things are up. Okay. Um, on the market here, the QQQ, simple going forward here. You've got the low from the follow through day. You've got the 21 EMA or 20-day moving average right there. And then you've got the close of the follow through day right there. So those are essentially the three levels to trade against. Oh, and the 50-day moving average right there. We went through Webby's trend change checklist quite a bit last week. And we continue to kind of mark off those boxes. I still contend that last Thursday's gap up, as well as Monday's action, were especially Monday's action were very follow through day like. So, I think that basically 1, 2, 3 buy days, and even 4, 5 days that you could have got at least just one stock, one stock, one stock, one stock. So, anyways, this day was the gap up against intermediate trend, the Brian Shannon stuff. And then this day was some gap support on individual names. Here's your follow through day. Here's a lot of oops names, and then here's a lot of undercut names on individual. But anyways, yeah, pretty simple. 50-day moving average, 20 MA, gap support low 707, 50, and then up above, you've got about the 724-ish level, and then 7:30. Okay. Um, don't need to go over Dow Jones, IWM, or SPY, but otherwise, I would suggest the same areas on those. So, um, I think there's two things last week that I'm especially proud of. Number one, which was quickly recognizing on Monday that it was likely going to be a buy day. Pretty quickly early in the session. We talked about in pre-market too, is about these gap supports, and a number of these names starting to kind of really fall through. Now, looking at some of the individual names, and this is a really important topic that I don't think enough people talk about. And we talked about it on that Monday. We talked about it on Friday actually, and then again on Monday in pre-market, which was traction. Everyone thinks about traction in their trades as feedback on their most recent trades. Well, over the period of time, especially when markets around those turns, sometimes there's not a lot of trades to go off of. And what I had brought up, and I kind of posed the question is, why wouldn't traction be more so trades that you should have taken, trades that the market is telling you, hey, this is working, hey, this is working, um versus your, because you're essentially with just doing traction of the trades that you're taking, factors in a number of self variables that are separate from the market. Of course, it's important, but I always want to think about what's actionable, what's achievable. And that kind of helped me because, I was looking around like, dang, Thursday was hot, Friday was hot. There's a number of people in the chat talking about, oh, I wish I had, I wish I had this. Oh, I wish I had more of this, up into Monday. And I'm like, dang, I could have taken TQQQ, could have taken Crowd, could have still been in, Snowflake at the time, could have still been in, D-Dog, could have taken that, Koru trade, yeah, and things like, and, some of those bounce back trades. And, um, yeah, so that traction, that feedback helped me get back to regular trading size versus correction trading size or drawdown trading size on early in the week. We were able to kind of push it a little bit into some names, but I want to go over kind of some of the list. This is RBRK. I'm pretty frustrated. This is another one, right? Look at this, Friday and Monday and Tuesday move. It's like, dang, I wish I had this. So I will say there's still a number of names that, man, I wish I had. So I'm a little frustrated with that, to be quite honest. I'm happy with the spots that I have. I'm happy. Oh, the other thing that I'm happy with is that I got stopped out of two names, justifiably so, right? Dell, I had it stop under Thursday's low, and then CBRS, I had a stop under Thursday's low as well. Both of them ticked just below that and quickly reclaimed. And within, just a couple minutes, I was able to, sell these and at my stop and then get back in, appropriately as they, triggered back. Dell, gosh, I don't even know what I have. 432 on this, 431. Um, 427, sorry, 428. Wait, yeah, 428. Okay, so was able to get back in to these at better pricing. I had Dell at 432 before. And as we undercut 426, I sold it and was able to buy it back with more size. 'Cause I'm like, dang, this is at the 20 MA. This is like, tapping the 50-day. This is my jam right here. And then same thing with CBRS. I'm like, man, this is a tap of the 20 May and the 50 SMA. This is like what we were talking about that we wanted the entire week. And I bought it Thursday, which I should, and I'm super happy with that. But I also stopped out of it under Thursday's low, as I should every single time. Um, but getting this back above the 50 SMA right here and reclaiming forced me back in. I should be in at about 209, give or take. And I'm in at 211, I believe. I should have checked these. I'm in at 211 on CBRS. Um, so again, very happy with stopping, very happy with buying back. And I wish I had more. I wish I had RBRK. I think the optimal portfolio right now would be, having RBRK, having Snowflake from back here, having CrowdStrike, I think from either Thursday or Friday, 731, having TQQQ from the gap versus intermediate trend, the Brian Shannon special, which we talk about all the time, where I posted this little view app undercut at about $62 on TQQ. And then Dell, HPE, CVRS, super happy with those. Probably would like a Palantir. Um, um, but yeah, I think that's kind of the optimal portfolio. So, I've got 25 names on my focus list going into this week. And none of them are like, guys, I found a sleeper, 100 likes and I'll reveal it. No, these are just good setups, good looks that I think are justifiable. And I'm just going to go through this list here. Google, if we get some sort of buy signal candle around the 50-day moving average or at the 20 MA here, I'd be interested in that. Amazon, big earnings gap up here, contending with Jeffrey Bezos sells, but I want to mark out this close of the earnings gap right here and kind of see how we contend with. This line is the all-time high, previous all-time high right there. So I think it's pretty simple. I don't think you need to rush into this. It's Amazon. Like, who gives a shit? Same thing with Google. Like, who gives a shit if you have it or not? They're not going to really move your account. I'd rather you buy TQQQ and pretend it's Amazon. Like, buy this, look at this Amazon setup, and then like, boom, I'm going to buy TQQ instead. You'll end up doing much better in terms of performance wise. Eli Lilly here. I think this is reasonable to still have on the list. You've got this, big base going back to late 2025. Kind of retested. It's a little bit choppy here. Had really nice earnings. Just been kind of trading goofy. I think it's reasonable if it, maybe gets one inside day or something to look to trade this. I don't hate it. Weekly looks like this. If this were a daily, you're telling me you wouldn't be interested in that, and it's a weekly on Eli Lilly. So I think it's reasonable. It's a thick little noodle, so don't worry about it. I do have MBIS on the list. They've got earnings on 8/12, so I think that's Wednesday or Thursday. Kind of drawn this out. I had a good trade with ManRev on this from 182 up to the 50-day moving average, 220s. Pulled back relatively weak right now, but I'd still like to keep this on my radar. AMD, I just want to have it on the list to see how it performs. I don't like the look of it necessarily, but um, we'll see what it does. Marvell. So I want to go over a few of these kind of semi setups of Marvell, ALAB, their CRDO, Intel, as well on this list. So first, let's look at the daily. Right, nothing super special. You got the 50-day up above. I do like the tightness right here. Like it's reasonable. I think we just delete the 50 SMA for this, and then we look at it like that. Like honestly, I know it sounds crazy. You're gonna laugh, but like when you delete the 50 SMA, this looks really good. And then also look at the weekly. Like you tell me that's not, let's throw it on a log chart. Okay. Here's a weekly log chart right here. I just can't, I can't say this is lagging. This is no good. And have it off my watch. I just can't. Looking at this right here, looking at the daily right here, I think it's a mistake to have it, not have it on your watch list. Same thing with ARM. Look at the weekly on this. Yeah, like that's a deep pullback. It's a deep pullback. Don't get me wrong. Like I know, but man, like if that's a daily, we're interested. Are you not? So I think you give it the benefit of the doubt for it being a semi. Same thing with Intel, man. Like undercut his base. Man, look what MU did. How come this isn't like just doing what MU did right here? Yeah, I know it's a different stock, different earnings power, but phew, you got it. I think you give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think you try to force them. I wish I just had Soxel right now. It would make my weekend so much easier. And then CRDO, what a hell of a candle this put in last week. Here's a week. I'm gonna get off log. I'm not a log guy. Hell of a candle this put in last week. It was up 20%. Look at how this is performing. Really nice cross back buy. And this is where, some people who are, somewhat too rigid, I think end up going wrong is man, you got to oops to reclaim the 50-day move or 20 MA. You got, a clean, tight, higher low. Like you got a cross back on a stock that is great, growing revenues at 300 or triple digits. Like these are the names of the past couple years. Um, is it going to change? Um, very possibly, very probably, because we do have a lot of other merchandise. Same thing with A-Lab right here. I can look at this weekly, throw this on a log scale. My word. I just can't give up on it. I can't say no bueno. I can't say it's gone. I have to have it on my watch list. Okay. And then the snowflake, like I've got this on there just because it's probably the best stock in the market. I don't have any. I wish I did. You could have it long from here, long from here, long from here. That would be just fine. Kind of frustrated with that. Um, Crowd, same thing. I need this to get a little bit tighter right here before I'm willing to buy that. RBRK, same thing. I really want this. Guys, I was so bullish on this back here. And I still am. I still am. I think this is potentially quite the special one here, guys, because this would be breaking IPO highs. It'd be breaking $100. This would be legendary, and I want a piece. I'll find my way in if it offers it. Okay. DOCN, I've still got this on the radar. Liked some of the earnings reports from some, similar ones. Kind of sitting in this, wedge pop area around 130. Probably not gonna go for it, but I want to. Frog, want to see how this behaves. Had a nice earnings report here. Maybe get a little something like this. We can go after that. I'd be fine with that. AEVA, same thing, big earnings gapper. They talked about some like photonics and laser stuff on their earnings call. There's like a LiDAR or robotic stock or something else. But yeah, hey, nice look. Nice little mover, fast mover. Look at this move that it made back in 2025. Yeah, this goes on the list. Okay. Blaze. I thought about this on, midweek here around this spot. Look at the weekly, like it closed at, weekly highs. Yeah, it had this big upper wick, but I don't think that's anything too concerning. And I think it deserves a spot on your list. I don't have apps on here, but same thing with APPS. Like these are earnings gappers. Watch these day two undercuts of these lows. Like that's becoming more and more common on these big gappers on either day two or day three, that they're either doing like delayed reactions through highs, or they're doing these undercuts into support, that I think you should keep your eyes out for. And then, oh, butterfly, dude. Okay, so if we get a chance to, I want this straight up. You guys know we've been talking about this for quite some time. Really here is where the market started, working right this Thursday, and look at what it's done since. So I do think that you can kind of look at this somewhat in isolation, right? So if you just kind of black out all of this crap before, just play along with me. I like to be a little hyperbolic too. All right. I like to be a little bit rambunctious and wild. So let's just do that and then make it 100%. Boom. Okay. So I think you can just look at it like this in isolation. Like, okay, big move, gets tight, and then if we can tap back down into $8 anytime early in the week, I'm a buyer of that. Okay. And then, okay, now we can bring this back. And then you've got the high volume calls right here at 890. Just call it $9. We've tapped it once, failed, twice, failed, three times. Now we're getting tight, tight, tight underneath that HVC. That is what you want to see, right? One tap is a Canal de size special. One tap, two tap, three tap, tight, 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 9 EMA curls for the girls. Is Canal de size special right there. And look at that, you got the 9 EMA curling right up underneath. Where look at this time, look how loose that is. This time, well, whatever. Now you got nice and tight. I'd love a pullback to 8 in the 20 EMA, but we might have to be prepared to get a little fast and loose with the old butterfly. AEHR. We started talking about this kind of early in the week. I thought about it against on Thursday on the gap down. I decided I wanted a little bit tighter, especially the stock. Like it's got a $12 ATR, so like 12%. I was like, I want to be a little bit more decisive, with this. I don't think it's going to give actually any of us a chance. I think it's actually just going to gap up big and kind of get going tomorrow. So, if you bought this oops on Thursday, congrats. I'd like it to get a little bit tighter. We'll see. Same thing with UMAC. If this gets a little bit tighter here, I'm a buyer. Palantir, we talked about this at the 200-day moving average. Um, if you bought it, congrats. I never trade Palantir well. I'm embarrassed to say. NTAP, again, just kind of a relative strength leader. I want us to keep this on the list. Let me see if it gives us a setup. CBRS, they've got earnings on, okay, this is wrong. It says 922. They got earnings on like Tuesday or Wednesday. Watch this anchored VWAP here. Ideally, this just like goes up to like 250 into earnings. Be a lot easier to hold that if that's the case. If it ends up just chopping around like entry into earnings, we're gonna have to make a decision. Because this can go either way. This could gap up to 300. This could, gap down to like 150. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's a pretty kick-ass company. There is some share structure stuff that Anon posted, that I think is interesting. It didn't sound like immensely positive, but still, HPE. Looks great. We'll see if it works or not. Net want to watch all this consolidates post earnings as another leader of the market. Cisco, I think this is a great setup. Any weakness bet under 120 into what about 118, give or take, 118.50. I think we can look to buy some of this. Pretty simple as that. I'd be fine with buying options on this too, honestly, like some 125 calls for end of year. So that's kind of the main list. That I've got. I actually want to add Shopify to this because I've got a number. I've probably got like 70 other names here on this list. Oh, you can't see it, so I'll blur or whatever. I probably got like 75 other names here on this list that I think are attractive. Um, uh, Again, like watch lists are nothing special. It's just like a list of stocks that might give you the setup that you trade. Simple as that. It's just like list of stocks that might give you the setup of your trade. Sure that there's some value in having stocks that are in the top 1% of the market that are showing immense relative strength that are leading the market in good groups and themes course, right? But overall, what all we're doing is trying to figure out where to apply the setup, the repetition of the setup that that we want to do. And it's as simple as that. I'm a cycle of price action guy from Oliver Cal. I think it's like the coolest thing in the world. Something that I've traded even before I knew what it was. Just some things that I thought I created it. I like the crossback, right? We had names for it. And I'm like, man, I keep noticing these like the pullback setups. Anyways, um, yeah, tons of other stuff, man. And Mongo Bongo, MDB looks great. 5N is another big one. Twilio, RNG looks great. I know people are talking about Zeta and Path. I think these are reasonable to have, somewhere on your list, not like anything that I'm trying to, FOMO in my pants around. I think this Wayfair was looking good. I haven't seen, much people talking about this, but I've got this on my radar. Big earnings gap up and pulling back here. Why not, man? This is pretty solid. I think this is worthy of having on your list. Wayfair can make moves. Here's the weekly chart. Dude, add it. Add it. AVGO, I think is reasonable if you get a higher low. I suck at these. You guys know I talk about this all the time. When you have a big gap on the left side, I think you leave it alone. Um, da, 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 da. Micron still got this. Dude, I'm fine with this. Brocco brought up NVIDIA here, which, NVIDIA is obviously the big one that worked. But this 2024 setup right there on Micron, it's a little bit tighter. But okay, let's make it fit our narrative. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on the left, and I'm going to put this on the right here. Mm, Not terribly different. Not terribly different. What else we got? Airbnb, nice earnings gapper. Um, Airbnb, BlackBerry, I think is reasonable to have on our list. Texas Instrument. I think this. Look at this weekly here. All right, not bad. This is why, man, I can't get Intel off the list. Look at that. I can't get ARM off the list or MRVL. We'll see. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I am. PRCH, another good earnings gapper. Solid. CMPS, this the mushrooms or whatever, acid for all you hippies out there. Same thing with DFTX. Solid. Going over Cisco. NEOG, a nice little earnings look. Big move, man. This is a 25% mover. Pulling back into the name, man. Genomics, healthcare, diagnostics. Maybe CCXI, Unitree IPOs in China this coming week, right now, Monday. I think Monday. Yeah, I still think CCI is gonna blast. I wish I bought this day when that PR came out about American robots and Chinese robots. That was a mistake. DDOG, keep it on the list here. Um, nah, never mind. AMC, guys. Anybody see the Odyssey? Anybody see Spider-Man? Not a bad look. AMC, IMAX. Little movie theme, huh? All right, Patrick. That's enough of that. And I think I've overstayed my welcome. DD. I'm just kind of going through some earnings gappers in my head. Triple D's, CRCT, a couple other ones for you little guys. Um, AOI, yeah, AMPG, yeah. ARJ, there's a nice little one for the little guys. TER, ANET. Okay, see ya. See you in the morning. Bye.